guys.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Spooky Maple Show. The show where I announce that I am officially advertising myself to be a Minecraft YouTuber. We're on episode 12 now, after a week that was pretty good for me. I was going to work on this episode a day earlier, but I decided that I would hang out with some good friends of mine instead, so apologies for being a little bit later this week. We got a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode, although there are no requested topics, but still a lot to talk about. But before we get into it, remember to subscribe. We are so close to 100 subs, and if we can hit it before 1 year since my return to YouTube, that'd be appreciated. Remember to subscribe, remember to like the video, and comment down below any topics or questions you want me to cover in next week's episode of the show. And before we get started, remember also that there are chapters in the video that you can click on if you don't feel like watching the whole thing. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into our first topic. Remember how I said last episode that I was going to be farming TFT games for LP? Yeah, I haven't really been doing that. Instead, last week, I started something that caused me to put off that goal for the future. I mentioned it earlier, and that thing being playing Minecraft. I started an SMP with some close friends of mine about a week ago, and I have just been playing on it every day since. It'll probably be the background footage for this episode of the show, since I have so many projects that I want to get done on the server that I haven't been able to do, so yeah. For the most part, it's just a simple server though, on one of those free server hosting websites with some plugins that I've added in order to make interactions with my friends in the game feel more smooth. Like, I don't know, just Essentials X, where you just get simple commands like TPing, like magic, so you have like a different form of combat if you're into that. The thing with Minecraft in general though is that when you play Minecraft, whether it be with friends or alone, you don't really do it for a long period of time, I think. At least for my friend group anyway. Oftentimes all of us playing Minecraft together comes in phases that just come and go. You know, we're never really playing Minecraft for a long period of time. And the only time that we have really was a creative server that we made a long time ago, where we essentially built a town, had mini games, a currency, all that jazz. The reason why we don't play on that creative server anymore is because the server hosting site that we used back then would delete the server if it wasn't open once in a 1 month period. If that feature didn't exist, I think we would honestly still be on that server, making memes and trolling each other. But the server that I'm playing on right now is a survival server, one that has come after dozens of failed attempts to recreate the magic of the creative server that we had all those years ago. And for this one, I want to recreate that creative server's longevity, in the survival server format at least. So I've been learning how to do plugins in order to create that town aesthetic that we had in that creative server. One of the things that I've always wanted to do is make a shop and economy along with custom mobs in order to prolong the survival gameplay experience. You know, whether or not this server lasts though, what is important to me is that my friends are having a good time playing Minecraft and hanging out in game. So, as long as I can do that, I'll be happy. I teased earlier that I was going to become a Minecraft YouTuber, and that was just a bit, honestly. I don't think that'll actually be the case. I feel like getting content out of Minecraft is really hard to do unless it's like staged or streamed like Dream SMP, both of which I don't really want to do because it feels really tedious and I feel like I would get bored of it really easily. No offense to any of the Dream SMPers or Twitter people, but I just want to enjoy the game and play it at my own pace. You know, Minecraft is a very relaxing game. I don't feel like I need to like worry and stress about it too much. So yeah, that's it for Minecraft. Next topic. Alright, now it's time for the one recurring segment on the show. The segment where I talk about my week. This segment came a little bit sooner than usual in the script because the topic that I was going to dedicate a segment to, I felt could fit into this one. So without further ado, let's talk about my week. The past week school-wise has been fairly chill for the most part. Next week will definitely be worse. And then the SAT week after that will hit everyone so hard that we crash and burn. But the past week was fine. Sure, I had some like pop quizzes and a physics test that pretty much everyone failed on, but other than that, there hasn't been too much to worry about for me at least. You know, the week that I'm in right now, or at least the one I'm recording, is my break week. So I'm just planning to hang out with a bunch of friends throughout the week. So yeah. My friends, on the other hand, have been really stressing out this past week about tests that they've had or are going to have, as well as the dreaded SAT Reaper that is coming to kill us all or has already killed you if you have taken it. But it's really tough to sit through, to see people stress out and torture themselves over stuff like this, you know, to see people's mentals just crash and burn, to see them lose hours of sleep and just frown all the time and look so depressed. It hurts to watch, you know, because we're supposed to be kids, and adults are always telling us to enjoy these years of our lives while we still can, because they just make adulthood sound so scary. While they tell us to do all these things like have fun and enjoy the time we have for that depressing period in our lives, we're just bombarded by all this trash and soot. So how in the world are we supposed to enjoy our lives while dealing with all this stress and anxiety? I don't really have the answer to that question. So if you were hoping that I'd give you some piece of advice that would save you from that hell, then I'm sorry, I don't know. I just don't. But one piece of advice that I've heard from someone not too long ago really helped me in a stressful period of my life. One where I was mentally tortured, picked apart, and riddled with stress and anxiety. And that being that you don't have to be perfect at what you do. You just have to be happy. I feel like with this coming week of stress and BS and everything in between, everyone is going to strive to put themselves in these situations where they aim to be or to get an outrageous, amazing, perfect grade or score on the standardized testing. But you don't have to do that. As long as you are content and can accept whatever happens to you, then you'll be fine. You'll be okay. And I'm not saying to just go out there and get a score that will get you nowhere. It's always good to prepare to some degree, but just be happy with whatever happens. I know it sounds dumb to say something along the lines of just be happy, forehead, but honestly, just be happy, forehead. I mean, if you can be happy, then whatever happens to you in the coming weeks won't affect you as it will others who put themselves to such an unbelievably high standard. You know, people push themselves to get this amazing thing that when reality hits them and they don't get what they want, it just feels so much worse to them. So I guess like a superpower to have would just be to be content with whatever happens to you in whatever given scenario. Sure, you can argue that your good grades and perfect SAT score are what make you happy. And to that I say, fine, sure, go for that amazing SAT score. Go for that top of your class valedictorian BS. But if you really choose to do that, make sure that you're able to look back at this time of your life when you're older and you're able to say that this was some of the best years of your life. That you're happy that you chose to spend your time doing whatever you're doing now. And if you're not able to do that, then maybe alter your work ethic slightly to make sure that you can be happy now and in the future. Just look out for yourself. Alright, sorry if I got a little bit hostile there. I just feel a little bit passionate on this subject, that's all. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Spooky Maple Show. Remember to like and subscribe and to comment any topic or suggestions down below. Thank you to everyone who watched, whether you skipped around for the stuff you wanted to hear or you watched the video in its entirety. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch the show. This coming week, remember to look out for yourself and to make sure that you stay happy and healthy. But until next week, see ya.